All right, hello everybody, and it is Marksman, here with Breach to do
What's up, guys?
our major three pick'ems. We're just doing the group play right now. We said we were gonna do the bracket last time, didn't end up doing it, so we'll have to see. But we're gonna at least do these group play. So the group play is a little different. It's round robin format. Which is 5 rounds. It's not going to be broken into rounds for the scheduling, but this is how it is set up for us to view. So, and it's actually kind of easy to look at. So, yeah, we're just gonna go group by group, pick who's gonna win, and then at the end should have 3 teams that we think will make it out of the bracket. So, I guess we'll start with group 1 and Bangkok Bandits versus Chicago Valor.
Yes.
The Bandits obviously new coming in towards the end of league play. Valor got second at our major 2, but 0-3 in league play matches. So I don't know.
Yes. I mean, you gotta really scrap it to a lot of team changes, as you know, and me and you both know actually. Puza, the team captain, decided to come to the villains org, which is great for us because we're both villains.
Right.
And he brought a goated S&D player like Sankari, and they both play well together. And then that kind of new team dynamic, and that left Chicago Valley kind of empty. I don't really know who's on Chicago Valley because I haven't watched a lot, but yeah, they seem to struggle. If if it serves me right, they had a forfeit at once, and then they got 3-0'd by New York, which they're a good team. Don't underestimate that. But
right.
I mean,
for the team that got second place the last major, you kind of expect more, and they did get 3-1 by 0-1 as well. So
yeah.
It's tough, like you said. I don't know. It seemed like they've been trying people and trying to figure out the roster, but I know the Bandits, obviously a team that's been together. Trying to think who's Reality, who used to sub in for Suitor, is on this team. So I don't know. Based on what I've seen from them, they're actually looking really good. I think I'd give it to the Bandits. I'm gonna go 3-2 though. I think Valor did struggle in league play, but I definitely think they're gonna show up for the tournament more than that. So
yeah, you gotta also recognize that. I think it's a new team dynamic, and sometimes it's hard to get used to in just 3 matches. Sometimes when it's really taken into consideration, you're taking the seriousness of it into consideration, 3 matches really isn't a lot. Right. So I agree with you, but I'm going to give it a 3-1. But I mean, we can go 3-2 because I think anything can happen, and especially when it comes to tournament play. But I would say 3-1 in my opinion. I just don't think I think losing so much also can hurt the confidence. So it might not. I don't know. It depends on if they show up with confidence, but I think Bangkok Bandits are taking it either way.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of inclined to agree with you on that. So yeah, we'll go with Bandits, and then the second match for that round 1 will be Hornets versus LA Ignition. I think from what I have here, LA Ignition did struggle. Let me see what their map count was, because they were 0-3, but they did have 2 map wins. Another shocking fall, because I know they were looking pretty hot towards the end. They're in Major 2. And then the Hornets were 2-1, kind of a surprise. From what we saw from them, they were looking really good. Ended up losing that final league play match, I think maybe just looking too far ahead. But yeah, so I think both these teams are kind of in like a middle range where I think they can both beat anyone but also lose to anyone, so it makes it kind of tough to pick one of them to win. Just from what I've seen, I guess I'll go Hornets 3-2 unless you disagree, and then I might flip-flop.
No, I think I completely agree. Honestly, I've watched a few of the maps from LA Ignition, and they do not look great at all. Like, no offense to the guys on that team, but like it looks like it looks like they don't know what they're doing sometimes. And they did go take 2 maps from Vegas Smite. I'm assuming they were having a great day, but like the rest of the teams, they are just like, they got pummeled by Villains, and then they got pummeled by Bangkok Bandits. Which the give and take though, you gotta assess the situation that these are top two. These are top two teams. Top two teams are close to the top 5 at least.
Right.
In considering talent and overall success. So like, I see why they would struggle in this stage because of the teams they played.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it comes down to that confidence issue. You get beat so many times, you stop challenging, you stop doing what you're supposed to do because it's to hurt. You don't want to do it again because you don't want to get hurt. So it's I feel like I agree with you. I think it'll be close though as well. I think I like to give the Hornets the benefit of the doubt. I don't really know them from what I've seen. I give them 3-2 as well. I think it'll be close.
All right, and then so then you got Valor versus Hornets. Once again, Valor struggled. I don't know if they'll get it together at this point in the tournament. I think they kind of have to because the opponents are only going to get harder. So
yeah,
as much as like it's just tough because from what we've seen, it's not like I've seen improvement. If anything, kind of looks like Valor's getting a little worse after each week. They still put up a fight against 0-1 that first week, and then after that, they've just been struggling. So I don't know.
I mean, I agree with this. I think 0-1 top team, so they take 1 map. You give it to them. Their new team too. You got to include they lost 2 key players, Kuza and Sankare. So B's left.
They actually lost all 3. The only one left was B because Sapphire went and joined Tokyo. So.
Oh, okay. Well, see, B is on here creating a new team on his own. Right. So I can't you can't be like, that's not easy. That's not easy. And taking a map off 0-1 is pretty good. I mean, because obviously 0-1 has not struggled at all.
No. So
like, you got to give them that. They did take a forfeit, as I see here. They took a forfeit, so you don't know how that could have went.
Right.
And then New York Eternals as well as their top 5 team. They're looking like it at least. So in the map count, looking at the map count, it looks bad, but their hard point is where they really struggled. But if they clutch out that S&D and that control, that map maybe go different.
Right, and I look at the Hornets right now, and they lost to Outgoing, who at the time was 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the Hornets were unbeatable. In fact, I kind of think they are, like I said, can beat anyone but can lose to anyone.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance Valor can just out-talent them from what I've seen from the roster. I know Hornets kind of struggle. They play very well, but at the same time, sometimes they can struggle in the slang. So,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think they 3-0'd the Hamilton Hammerheads pretty bad, but I don't know much. And from what I've seen, I don't know how their dynamic is. And I'm assuming the Hornets have practiced for a while, and then they forfeit, and then they got slayed by San Fran. So I'm honestly going in favor of Chicago.
Yeah, I think I'd take Chicago, honestly, 3-2, 3-1. I think Hornets can take a map. But
I think 3-1 in my opinion. I think Chicago really will pull through. I don't know if they're going to pull through like in the caliber teams of, the Bangkok Bandits, the Villains, and Internal and all them. I don't think they'll pull through like that. But I think from these middle bracket teams type deal, I do think they can take the series.
Yeah, and then that takes us to Villains versus Bandits, and I don't know. Villains, did they drop a map in League Play? I don't
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And obviously we're biased in some regard.
Yeah.
Just based on who we want to win, but at the same time, I mean, Bandits don't look bad. They're new to the league. I forget who they dropped their game to, but it
was
might have been a forfeit. So
it was a forfeit. It was to New York. I
Okay,
believe they were under reconstruction.
oh yeah, that's right.
League play.
That's right.
So
Yeah, I think the actual team in there now only played that last match,
yeah,
and I think
believe
that was
so.
like a 3-0, 3-1.
It was a 3-0 against Ignition.
Okay, yeah, they looked really good. So I'm gonna give them a map, but Villains haven't shown anything where like you can reasonably be like, yeah, Bandits are gonna beat them. Just because Villains, other than 0-1, have looked like, I mean, they're number one seed in this whole tournament for a reason. So
Yeah, I think the new Villains, especially coming into this stage, has looked freaking nice. I mean, you can't doubt it. I mean, their hard point is fluent. The control, and I'll continue. Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Their hard. I'm obviously going to be a bias, but their hard point has looked fluent.
Yeah,
Their control has looked amazing. They struggle a little bit at S&D, but I don't think that's necessarily they're struggling. I think it's more of a game, because I think in this game particularly, anybody can scrape out an S&D. I don't think that is unnatural of any team. I think all it takes is hiding in the right corner sometimes. So
yeah, I think a 3-1 towards Villains is definitely
yeah,
something
I
we can
agree.
expect. So yeah. Speaking about Villains, so their next match, or the next match we have on the thing, is Villains versus Hornets. I don't know. I think we already said our piece on both teams. But being we have Valor kind of beating them, I think it makes sense to say that the Villains would beat them.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it a 3-0. I hate to say it, like it's just I just don't think the Hornets are on their potential yet. I don't think compared to the talent on Villains and the talent on Hornets and just how well Villains play as a team compared to them, it doesn't seem they might scrape an S&D, but I don't even really see that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I got 3-0 as well. And then you got Ignition, who we obviously talked about, versus Valor.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be more of a test for Valor. I don't know. It's hard for me to, because Ignition can look really good, and then they can also look really bad. Both these teams 0-3 in league play. I don't know. Honestly,
I mean,
I'd like to give the edge to Valor, but I don't. I
mean,
Ignition has been a team for longer, so if they get if they get it figured out.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, my thing went like black. But I see what you're saying. But I also think I think where I agree with you earlier about you saying Valor hitting their stride in tourney, and I think they can.
Right.
I think it's a very possibility. I think Valor has just been going through some new team changes.
Right.
And I just don't think, as a well-formed team, Ignition is like, I just don't think they've looked at all like they know what they're doing. Like, it's not a diss to them guys. Again, I think I said this earlier, but they just, I don't think as
struggling.
they do not look like they play well together.
Right.
So yeah, I give it Chicago Valor 3-1.
3-1. I can agree with that, honestly. I think that Valor's gonna step it up going through this, and like you said with Ignition, they just seem not very cohesive. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. So then we got Villains versus Ignition. I mean, we kind of already said it. That's pretty straight up for Villains here.
Yeah.
Unless, like I said, this is all how we're viewing each of these teams. Some of them we haven't seen a lot of. So it's kind of an interesting situation for us. But at the same time, we're just gotta go how we see it. Like, the Ignition could be on a run through this whole group play. But unless they are going into that match, I think it's pretty easy for Villains. Like I said, unless for some reason Ignition is on fire going in to it, then I think they might have a good chance, at the very least, to make it a competitive series. But yeah, as we see it now, I gotta go with Villains. So
yeah, I agree. I think I mean they played not too far back. It was like a week ago, and they 3-0'd them as well. So I feel the same outcome. It was a pretty swift 3-0 too. It wasn't. They didn't. Villains didn't really struggle at all. So I think it'll come to the same outcome.
Yeah, that's fair. And then Bandits versus Hornets. I think Bandits are the second best team in this group, so I'm gonna have to pick them against the Hornets. Maybe a 3-1. I think is a good pick, but I don't know how you feel about it.
I haven't seen much out of the Bandits, at least, because obviously they've only played one map.
That's true,
one map from what I see here. So like I don't know how well it like comes down when it comes down to it, but gotta give them 3-1, if not 3-0. I mean, I would say 3-1, like you said, just because of I think anybody can scrape out an S&D. I don't think it's. I think again, S&D in this game is kind of. It can be 50. It can be a 50-50 at times. So I can agree with 3-1.
3-1, and then Ignition versus Bandits. I hate to keep putting Ignition down, but I don't see anything changing at this point, especially with our prediction being they're winless. So
yeah,
probably gonna have to. It's 2 Bandits.
Yeah, 3-0 probably. Honestly, and again, I'm not like. I know I've been hating on Ignition, but I have to go off of like basic results of what they've performed, and it's just not looked great. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And their group's not in Give Me group either, unfortunately. So it's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard. And then Valor goes against Villains. Like you said, Kuza Sankara used to be on the team. I do think they got the better end of that deal. They're looking good. I take Villains 3-1. Depending on how Valor's looking going into that one. So
I agree with you. I think 3-1. I think they know their tendencies a little bit. I think B does have a little inside scoop, a little what does Kuza run, what does Sankara run as far as them two.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that comes great in S&D. But but in the respawns, it's not as useful. So I just definitely think 3-1. Yeah. And that depends. I think it could 3-0, just the way the Villains have been playing.
Yeah. So based on all of that, what we said, we got Villains leaving the bracket as the 1 seed from Group 1. Bandits coming out 3-1 as the 2 seed, and then Valor scraping by, getting into the final bracket, but on the loser side. So it's kind of what we got for that as it stands now. And then, I mean, we're going into Group 2. Honestly, I am excited to talk about a different group.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But yeah, so Prime. I don't know. I gotta pull up all these numbers because all these team changes. Prime looks actually, I think, really solid. From what I've seen, they win a lot of maps. They went 2-1. I think their team's pretty cohesive. They've been together since Major 2, I believe, when they split off of Boston. So yeah, just from what I've seen, I think they're solid. Hawaii, they just pretty much dropped their whole roster except their team captain Kozik. So they definitely struggled in the league play. So split 0-3.
Yeah.
I think not giving it to Prime is just a little disrespectful towards Prime. Syndicate does have a new roster going into it, but I think they're the ones that got to prove themselves. So I'd take Prime 3-0, 3-1.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree with you at all. I mean, again, I don't know much about either of these teams, to be straight with you. But Hawaii just they haven't looked too fantastic. As far as like the way they've played, I'm trying to. I'm also trying to pull up their league play results just to make sure I'm giving a valid answer.
Right.
They were supposed to play last week, by the way, but it was a forfeit by.
Yeah.
Hawaii forfeited every game except Eternals.
Yeah, they did take a map, which is why it's confusing. But then, because of the forfeits, they had to make roster changes because people, they couldn't get their matches scheduled. So, like I said, it's just kind of crazy.
I do know. I've played against Kazakhs at least, and I do know he's kind of filthy. And I would like to. I think I'm not like disrespecting Atlanta Prime. But I don't know. I don't have valid concern that, but I think I agree with you. I think I give it 3-1. I wanted to say maybe Hawaii. I think it could go either way, actually.
I think Hawaii can definitely come in and upset, and like as far as upsets go, I wouldn't be that shocked. I mean, I would be a little shocked, but at the same time, I would be like, okay. They just had a rough split with scheduling.
Yeah,
but
I think,
like I said, I think Prime, they've kind of earned to get picked here.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think, the only team they did not do well against, or they didn't even do bad against, technically, was the Hammerheads.
Right.
And they didn't do bad. It was a 3-2, so. Gotta give it to them. So I would say 3-1.
3-1? All right. And then you got Tokyo Ghouls, which we said earlier was where Sapphire went from Chicago Valor, taking on Suitor. Suitor's kind of been the mid, like, I'm trying to say this that makes the most sense, but like one of those teams that you show up to play against and they can definitely beat you any day. I do have a lot of respect for them. But Tokyo did look really good. I think they lost to 0-1, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think I agree with you with that. And also,
dominant.
I just know the guys on the team. Jutsu, right. Me and you played against him. Yeah, we know he's a nasty.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Zapphire's played with them. I've heard of Wava as well. I've heard of these guys. So, I'm not trying to base it off of what I know. I'm trying to just base everything off of what I know and what I've seen.
Right.
And I'm not. I tell you, I want to take them. I don't think it's gonna be pretty. Honestly,
3-0.
I don't. Yeah, I think 3-0.
Yeah, I think Suitor would have to come out really hot to take that one. So yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'm gonna go Tokyo 3-0, 3-1.
Yeah, you could give it a 3-1 as well.
Out. Yeah, and then Hawaii versus Tokyo. I don't think really Hawaii would have much of a shot in that game. Like I said, no disrespect to those guys, but unless their roster update was pretty significant, Tokyo just looks really good right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to I'm looking at the roster, and I don't I mean, Kha'Zix is, from what I know, decent. I don't really know these other guys, so I can't
Right.
I can't. It's hard to vouch, so because of just not knowing them. But yeah, Tokyo, they're a good team. They 3-0'd Mafia, and Mafia isn't that bad from what I've heard, and just from different teams. So you got to give it to them. Tokyo, I take Tokyo probably a 3-0 again. I mean,
yeah, and then
they're a great team.
0-1 are Major 2 champs, probably undisputedly the current best team in the league. I mean, you can't really give it to anyone else. They've looked like the best. I think this is going to be for Prime. I don't know how much of a shot you have unless they come out honestly on their best bullshit, we'll say, and shooting straight. But I think 0-1 can take this 3-0. No disrespect to Prime, but I mean, they've always been in this mid caliber since they joined the league, and I just don't really see that changing here.
Gosh dang, I feel bad for this group. I really do. Like, no offense to the bottom to anybody but 0-1 and goals, but
right.
Good night. Yeah. I mean, I just saw 0-1. They were playing for top 64 in a cup the other day, and they were looking pretty good. So you got to give it to 0-1. They're a great team. They shoot straight. They've really stepped it up this year. You really see it.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, compared to years before, I don't know the continuation of who's all been on that team over the years, but this team has just played well together through and through. So I gotta give it 3-0.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that. Then you got Tokyo versus 0-1, kind of a rematch from I think Redemption Week is when they played. So
what was the score of that, by the way? I'm really trying to find it, but I can't.
I think it was a 3-0. Yeah, it was a 3-0. So, I mean,
yeah,
Tokyo. I do think Tokyo. They're a really solid team. I don't see them. I see maybe later in a final bracket situation where, they're getting hot and they're feeling it, where they can take down a team like 0-1 or like Villains Eternals. But this stage in the tournament, I think they're gonna go ahead and probably lose this one 3-1. Maybe 3-2, depending on how they're looking, but
yeah, I mean, 0-1. Honestly, they're that team. They're that team, and they talk a lot of smack, but they back it up wholeheartedly. So
far, they've backed up pretty much everything. So
yeah, gotta give it a 3-0.
Yeah, gotta give it to them. And then you got Suitor versus Syndicate. Basically, I think we've we've been putting Syndicate down just because they haven't showed us anything. And then Suitor, like I said, they've kind of been that team where you never know on a given day. Who do you got for this one?
I think on a positive note, Hawaii could take it 3, or not Hawaii. Suitor and Hawaii takes it to map 5. I think Suitor takes it though. 3-2, because their S&D is their S&D is phenomenal. I think if Hawaii would want to win it, you would have to take it 3-1. I watched their S&D against the Villains the other day, and Villains is a really good team right now. And I mean, they pulled it. They didn't win it, but it was 6-4, and I mean,
looking solid.
I mean, you can't deny it. It might not have been 6-4. I think I might have checked that statistic, but they look overall. If they don't make 2 or 3 mistakes, they might take that map.
Right.
So but I think Suitor can definitely pull out. I think anybody can pull out. I think controls it can vary sometimes, and so I think you give it Suitor 3-2 in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then you got 0-1. I think obviously we're agreeing on them beating Suitor, and I just don't really know if there's much discussion about that. But then you got Prime
Yeah.
versus Tokyo. We've been hyping up Tokyo. Prime is the higher seed based on how league play went. But I don't know if they're going to be able to take it from what we've seen. It's hard to say because I haven't seen enough from Prime to be like, I don't like what I'm seeing. But I've also not seen where I'm like, okay, those guys, they're on another level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Prime. I think Prime is. I think they're a middle bracket team. I really do. I think. I think they will. I think they can pull through when needed, but I just don't think they're on Tokyo's level yet. I think Tokyo's kind of. They're just playing very well, and they're a great team. Solid Slayer, solid AR, and I just don't see them faltering to a team like Atlanta Prime.
Yeah, I agree with that. So that kind of puts us in a situation where we would have Suitor versus Prime to see who makes it in the final bracket. So I guess the question is, I don't know, who do you think's gonna make it out of group play between those two? Because this match would decide it. So. It's kind of a tough one. I think they're both kind of on the same level, talent, skill-wise, from what we've seen.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I think this is one of the ones you could toss a freaking coin.
Right.
I do think
who's hot on that day, honestly.
I do think though. I do stick by this. I think if Prime let it go to Mac 5, I think they lose.
Yeah.
I do. Again, I praise them for it. Their S&D is really good. I don't know if they maybe they're just playing they're getting their maps, but I do think it's like I haven't seen them falter too much on S&D from just what I've watched and who they played against. So okay, I'm trying. This is a tough one, man. I'm going back and forth on it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at statistics because they beat San Fran,
Right.
but Suitor beat San Fran. Suitor beat San Fran as well. I mean, they both beat them 3-1. Like,
Yeah. Like you said, honestly, flip a coin of.
And I do think Atlanta Prime did not play as strong teams.
Yeah.
So I think
it's
I
tough.
think Suitor
would take it 3-2. I think they're gonna be able to take the S&Ds and at least one respawn, honestly. So
I mean, I'll agree with you because I personally I don't know. I would like to say I think I agree with you that because if it goes to any chance it goes to Met 5, Suitor will win.
right. So,
But I mean, then I agree
yes,
with you.
I mean,
think
since we
3-2
gotta
Suitor.
pick one, I guess Suitor 3-2. But let the record show. Honestly, we think either of these teams could win that game.
Yeah,
So, and then
exactly.
you got 0-2-1 Syndicate. Don't even need to talk about that. Tough for Syndicate, but our version of group play, we got 0-2-1 Tokyo and Suitor making it out for group 2. So yeah,
I think that's perfect for first two groups. I think that's really how it's going to be. Really.
yeah. I mean, write it down. But we got group 3, and I think this is where it's going to get a little more difficult, especially for some of these teams that we haven't seen a lot from. Starting Toronto Nation versus Nashville Acidity. No disrespect to Nashville Acidity, but they've really struggled, and I don't think they made any roster changes going into Major 3. So I'm honestly just gonna give it straight away to Toronto Nation. They've looked good.
Yeah,
They look solid. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
all I can say
they
about
also they also 3-0'd them at the first of league play this month, so kind of got to be like it's probably gonna go the same way. I don't think Nashville has took a map all league play, so
Yeah. No, they have not. So, yeah, it's tough for them. I'd like to see them make some roster changes, but like I said, I haven't seen anything yet, and the roster's locked. So, yeah. And then you got the Hamilton Hammerheads versus the Valkyries. Both these teams, I don't know. If I'm being honest,
no freaking clue. I've not seen either of these teams. I know they I know Valkyries beat Nashville.
Yeah,
but this is not a diss on Nashville. But I don't consider that like.
Well, you can't really be like.
My opinion.
Yeah, you can't be like, wow, that changes everything. They've struggled against who they played, and I don't think they've played any of the top teams. Hammerheads also lost to. They've lost one and then took the last two, so they are just based on the whole fact that I think they're a hotter team coming into it. I think would give it to the Hammerheads, just based on that alone, honestly.
What did the Valkyries go? Because I'm only fine. I think I'm missing a match.
They went 1 and 2.
They went 1 and 2, and Hammerheads. Did they go 1 and 2 as well?
Hammerheads went 2 and 1.
Who'd the Hammerheads beat? Just out of curiosity, because I'm looking through this and I'm not seeing.
Yeah. Well, that's because sometimes they don't get. They beat Prime 3-2, and then they. Man, I'm missing one too. I'm trying to think of who they beat. I'm missing a map, but I know that I think the other one was a forfeit then. So if I can't find that, that's usually what that means. So.
Yeah,
but if they beat Prime, honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go with them. Just almost on that fact alone.
I think it'll be close, though. I don't think it'll go.
No, I don't think it'll be a blowout or anything.
Like I don't think it'll be a blowout at all either. I think this could go either way. I think 3-2. I'll give it to Hammerheads just because, but I don't think I really think it could be close. But again, I could be wrong just because I don't know these teams well at all. Because Hammerheads did get 3-0'd by the Hornets.
That's true.
And but that could have been they weren't playing well that day. I mean, everybody has off days, but we'll give it to them for now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then they take on Nashville. Just from what we've seen, I think I'm going to give it to Hammerheads on that.
Yeah, 3-0 probably.
Yeah, probably a 3-0, 3-1. I don't think Acidity is in a great place going into this tournament. Like I said, they clearly need to make a roster move. They're not out of champs qualification yet because of expansion. But they really got to get the ball rolling. So, but they haven't made anything for this current tournament, so I think it's fair to say 3-0 toward Hammerheads for that one. Yeah. And then Eternals, Toronto Nation. Toronto, I don't know, they were kind of like a shockingly good team going. Not that I thought they were going to be bad, but they were new and they kind of came out hot. So they're a good team, but Eternals, they kind of smoked everyone they played except the forfeit, which isn't their fault, obviously. So
yeah, I mean, their Eternals are looking good. I can't deny that. They did. They took on Hawaii and they pretty much smoked them except for S&D, and we know a couple guys over at Eternals as well. And just based off what we hear, I gotta give it to Eternals. Gotta give it to them, man. They probably. I could see a 3-1 though, because Toronto has not looked terrible. Yeah. They did beat the Spartans and they did beat Nashville, which again that doesn't change anything really, but I think they do look good. So, but I would say not to Eternals level though. I don't think they're on that same playing field right now. So
yeah, I mean, honestly,
I would give them 3-1 maybe.
Yeah, and I don't think really anyone in this group is on Eternals level. just
I
agreeing on
completely
that.
agree.
Like, going into the next match, you got Hammerheads who could come in hot and maybe take a map or two, but I just don't think they can take a series against Eternals.
No, I completely agree with you. I just think I think Eternals is they've obviously they've made some changes, but okay, this is off the record. I did just see an update,
Yeah.
but is replay? I just got a notification saying Virginia added replays to the roster.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting compared to that he is friend a lot of good. He's got a lot of good friends in Eternal. But yeah, again, back on topic to what I was saying. I just don't see them beating. I don't see any team beating Eternals.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And yeah, Hammerheads, honestly, I don't think they'll do bad in this tournament, but they're just not on that level. Then you got Valkyries, which, if what you said's true, I gotta go with them taking that Shrill down. Just kind of how it is at this point.
Yeah, it is true. I did look at the roster. I mean,
yeah, I
as long
looked
as
at
this
it.
isn't a joke.
I mean, sometimes they type the wrong thing in, though. That's the only issue.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. They could have typed the wrong thing as well, and
But
also, unless it's just a joke, because I know a lot of replays is a great guy previously in the NCE league. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but either way, I don't think it changes the fact that Virginia will be Nashville.
yeah, and I don't think it changes the fact that they'll probably lose to Eternals. Replays is good, but honestly, Eternals,
Can't
I think
1v4.
as a team is just solid from everything we've seen. And then you got Toronto versus Hammerheads. Honestly, I think that's going to be one of our closest matches in Group 3. And I honestly don't know who to give it to right now. So
I'm leaning towards Toronto.
yeah,
I think
that's fair.
I know some guys on the Hammerheads as well. So I don't think the Hammer, just from what I know about their play, and I just don't think that the Hammerheads. I don't think they will pull it out against Toronto. I think Toronto. They've looked solid, so just can't really hate on them. Besides, like I don't think they didn't do good in one game. So, I mean,
yeah,
gotta give it to them. Gotta give it to them.
And then Toronto versus Valkyries. I think Toronto would take that as well, just from what we've seen from these teams. And and Eternals Acidity. I don't think that would be probably the craziest upset in this whole bracket, but or group stage. But I don't think that's gonna happen. So from what we got right now, Eternals, Toronto, and Hammerheads would be going into the final bracket. Hammerheads would be in the losers bracket. That's just kind of how our predictions landed. Valkyries could improve significantly. But I just can't bank on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also, we don't know if he misspelled or not. And also, we also don't know like how valid this is because this did just happen. So I don't.
And it's April 1st, so.
Yeah, there's definitely a scenario where Virginia makes the cut. So if this is true, so if this, because I mean, you never know, he could be that key player that made that roster diffy. So.
Right. Yeah. And then we're going into our final group here, Group 4. This one's kind of crazy because Infinite basically didn't have a roster and they forfeited all their matches, which is how they got in to the bad situation they're in at the moment. But New Jersey Mafia, can't say they looked bad, you know. They looked really good from what I've seen.
Cannot at all. They've what was they 3? They go 3-0? No, they lost to Tokyo.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
So they went
Yes, correct.
so they went 3-2. That's gotta give it to them. They beat Suter, and they're not a terrible team.
Right.
Smite has looked better than ever too, as well.
Yeah, Smite's looking like from what we saw before. We were like, okay, middle of the pack, and then they just, I don't know, they blew up. They look amazing right now. So, but for this first match, we don't know what Infinite's bringing to the table. So, from what we saw from Mafia, I think it's fair to just go ahead and give it to them because they've actually proven themselves. So.
Yeah, I mean,
gotta say 3-0, 3-1 just because we don't know what Infinite's gonna bring.
Yeah.
So
I say 3-0 just because I don't know. I mean, if you're forfeiting, you can't really figure that out. So yeah,
right.
3-0.
And then Outgoing versus Spartans. Spartans, I don't really know if I'm being honest with you. They've made a couple changes. They've improved slightly. Outgoing also went 1-2 in the league play split, but they looked really good in their final match against Hornets. So
yeah,
this one's tough.
I think you give it to San Fran. I don't. Spartans really. They beat Nashville. No offense to the Spartans, but that really doesn't add any value to my opinion. On the topic. So, I mean, I think the Spartans do show potential, but they did struggle against Toronto Nation, and I believe they also lost to the Villains as well. So,
right.
Which I mean, those are decent. Their Villains are a really good team, and the Toronto, they're not bad either. So,
right. It's hard to say.
I definitely see a world where either one of these teams win, but
yeah, I think it would be like 3-2 either way. But I kind of think San Fran, they kind of fell off a little bit, but they picked themselves back up, and it's around the same roster, so I have more faith in them.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you got them playing Infinite once again. I'm not gonna pick Infinite any of these. They could come out and win all their matches, but we just don't know their roster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough because I mean they were a top 3 team, and then all of a sudden stuff happens with teams, inner org situations. But yeah, so
yeah, I mean you hate to see it. You really hate to see it because you saw. Well, yeah, I believe we both saw a lot of potential in them. Because at one point in time it was like they were miles ahead of anybody below them, but they were miles below of the top 2, so it was kind of like they were in safe distance, it felt like, but now it's not look great.
No, it hasn't been looking great. And then you got Smite, like we said, looking better than ever versus the Mafia. I don't know. I don't know. I think
both, either, man.
Both teams are solid.
Yeah.
Who looks better is kind of objective at this point. They haven't really faced off, so I don't know. Just from what I've seen, Smite just looks really good right now.
I mean, it's I don't know, man. I think you could probably flip a coin about it. They did achieve a forfeit though, so I can't can't go into too much. But I mean. And Mafia did play. They played Toronto, or not Toronto. They played Tokyo, and they lost pretty badly. But they 3-0'd Valkyries.
Yeah. It's tough.
I don't know, man. I think either one could win this. I don't think it's objectively to say because I don't really know either way. I don't know too terribly much about these teams.
Yeah, I think we've seen Smite longer, and from what we've seen from them, they're pretty consistent. So if they're hot, I think that I trust them to take that game, in my opinion.
I want to go Mafia so badly, but I just have to go with what I know. So I think it could be 3-2 Smite. I really do. Because Smite beat LA Ignition, but it was a 3. It went to map 5, and New Jersey Mafia 3-0'd San Antonio. And I think San Antonio is way better than LA. So, but again, everybody can have an off night. I don't think that's
right.
I don't think that proves a whole much of anything. So, I mean, we'll give it to them, but I really don't. I personally think it might be Mafia. Actually, I think both teams have looked great.
Yeah, I think that one's gonna be up in the air. Honestly, I'm excited to see who takes it. But then you got Smite versus Outgoing. I don't know. I think Outgoing has the potential to outskill Smite, but at the same time, from what I've seen from Smite, they've been playing good as a team.
Yeah,
they've looked solid, so it's kind of, this is another one where I don't know, whoever shows up on the night probably is going to take it. So
yeah, I mean,
tough.
I personally think I'm gonna give it to San Fran. I think well, hold on.
Hold that phone.
I had to look. I gotta look at the roster here, because I'm also going. Their score is kind of similar, and who they play is kind of similar. So I'm trying to base it off of what I know how these guys play as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I kind of want to give it to. I want to give it to San Fran.
San Fran. Yeah, I can get behind that, honestly. I wouldn't be shocked if Smite won, but
yeah, I think this, out of all the groups, is the closest group comparatively to there is bottom, obviously Infinite, but like I think those 4 teams can
anyone can beat anyone, honestly.
Yeah, if they show up that day, it's go time. I mean, they get that win, so I think that's going to be a mixy group.
Yeah, and being we're not talking Infinite just because we don't know, say Spartan's going to take that one, but then they play Smite, which is another one where it's like, I don't know. I do think from what we actually saw, Smite just looks better. Like, Spartans haven't beat anyone close to Smite's level yet. Mm-hmm. So I think depending how they do against like Outgoing, against Infinite, there's a good chance that they could take down Smite, but I think it's kind of crazy to pick them when I think the only team they beat is crap, I'm trying to think. Was it Nashville? Right?
Nashville, yeah, it was Nashville, right. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really feel comfortable picking them right now. Just kind of how I feel about it. Yeah,
I agree. I would say Smite win it, but I think this group's tough. This is a tough group. Tough. I mean, I don't really think I have confidence in picking either one of them. Yeah. And but yeah, I'll give it to Smite. I don't know what the score will be though. I think it could range from any to 3-2 either way to 3-0 either way. Show. Right. Yeah. So, because again, I don't know too terribly much about either one of these teams, just how they play, and I know a little bit about Spartans, but I just think Smite has like the upper hand right now. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I give it a 3-2 Smite.
3-2 Smite.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm looking at this New Jersey versus San Fran match.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to pick Mafia here. I don't know how you feel about that. I think that's a good matchup for them.
Yeah.
And I think they have a good chance to take that one. So
I agree. I think Mafia, I honestly think Mafia has looked the best out of this group. Yeah. I really do. I think they've looked better than Smite personally, just from who they played. Because again,
Right.
Some of these teams, they play better teams than others, and how they do against them definitely can sway our pick. But I mean, they played the Valkyries, they were dominant. They played. They also played Suitor, and Suitor's making it in the bracket. So I don't think it's an unfair assumption that they can't beat any of these teams. So I would say Mafia as well.
Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. Honestly, from what we've seen,
And they beat and they also I just seen the score because I'm trying to scroll through.
yeah.
But they 3-1 San Fran.
Oh, they.
So
Ooh.
yeah, so
Yeah, I think-
you gotta.
I do think that's a good matchup for him. So.
Oh no, Suitor's
Oh,
Suitor
that was-
3-1 San Fran, and then sorry, I made a comparative
Oh,
here. Sorry, and then
then.
I made a comparison, and then Mafia 3-0 Suitor. So, I mean, you gotta think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, I know San Fran was struggling previous, so
Yeah.
like they could be on their game now. So you can't count that out as well. So, but I'm kind of on. I agree with Mafia. I think 3-1.
Yeah, I'm with that. And then Mafia versus Spartans, I think that's more the same. I mean, it's tough because what we've seen from Spartans, in my opinion, just hasn't been enough. I would go with Mafia here. Honestly, pretty convincingly from what I've seen from Mafia.
Yeah.
Smite, I don't know. Even Outgoing, I'm kind of like, I think they're really good, but at the same time, they may struggle like they did early in League play. But I don't think Mafia would struggle in this one. So
yeah, I definitely think Mafia pulls it out. They've looked solid. I think they unfortunately. I think what hurt them coming into this group is they played Tokyo Ghouls, and that's a really good team. I think that's
a really good team,
so. I think, but they crushed the other teams they played. So I just don't see a world where they lose this match.
Yeah, and I mean that leaves us with a 3-way tie between Smite, Mafia, and Outgoing. So depending on how the maps go, one of these teams are going to end up in the loser side of final bracket. But that's for the matches to decide. Of the three, though, who do you think would probably be on the loser side between those three in the tie? This would be based, like I said, on how they did each match.
Yeah, loser side. I definitely
leaning towards Smite, I assume.
I'm leaning towards Smite. Yeah, I think I don't necessarily. There's a world where San Fran doesn't go to losers either, but like just the way Smite has played,
yeah,
I think there's
Smite has a higher potential to get 3-0'd. Whereas the other two, I think, would take a map or two, which would help them in that tiebreaker scenario. So, yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. So, honestly,
and
yeah,
I see Mafia being the top tier in this. We're not gonna go back because we're not redoing our answers because we've already said. But I do think Mafia definitely probably. It's not a tie, and I definitely see it that Mafia comes out on top of this because I didn't really get to judge, and because I'm having to scroll through and look at the way they've played, but I definitely think it goes probably Mafia and then either San Fran or Smite.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. So, yeah, at the end of the day, going into the final bracket, we have from Group 1, we have Villains, Bandits, Valor. Group 2, we have 021 Tokyo Suitor. From Group 3, we have Eternals, Hammerheads, and Toronto Nation. And then finally, Group 4, we have Mafia, Smite, and Outgoing. So, honestly, I'm excited to see what this tournament looks like with expansion in. I was excited to add the teams, add the competition. So, I don't know. I'm just excited to see maybe some teams prove us wrong. Hopefully, that makes it more exciting. So,
Yeah. I definitely think there is for your potential. I definitely think in the group 3 or 4. A lot of those teams I'm not familiar with, so it's hard for to make a great assumption
Yeah.
on them. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting tournament for sure. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah, and we're excited to see what happens. If you want to stay up to date with the tournament, follow NCE League on Twitter. Follow, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of Twitch channels streaming these matches, which is why I say follow the Twitter. You can obviously join the Discord. There should be a link on Twitter coming up, but this will be from April 3rd to April 23rd. So if you'd like to check these out, go ahead, follow us on the Twitter. You don't even have to follow us. Maybe just bookmark something, and we'll post where each of these matches are going to be broadcasted to. But yeah, thanks to Breach for coming out and giving his predictions here. And any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Good luck. Good luck to all the teams. I mean, it's gonna be a great one, and I'm just interested. I'm hyped. I think we made some great picks, and I think it'll prove to it. But I think this time we do plan on doing a pick'ems for the actual tourney
Right.
after group play.
Yeah, it should be easier this time. Last time, the way the tournament kind of played out, we didn't really have a good idea who's going to make it the bracket. With this being round robin, there's a better chance of that. So yeah, we'll try to
definitely
make time and get a video out. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Yeah, we'll see you during the week and during the tournament.
See you guys.